Good afternoon everyone and welcome to this month's edition of Vanother Collective. So Vanother Collective is a group of like-minded caravanners, campervanners, motorhomers. We get together every month over an agreed subject and topic, and then we all give our own insight, views and things like that on the video topic. In this video we're going to take you through some hints, tips and tricks about how you can make your experience whilst travelling, be it in a caravan or in a motorhome, more enjoyable and more fun. So we've been full-time now in the motorhome for a little bit over 12 months, so we've a lot of the time learned the hard way about how to not do things. So we've got quite a bit of experience now in terms of how we can make it better and more enjoyable, simply from our own mistakes. So we spent the best part of the first half of our van life experience in a short wheelbase Ford Transit with a baby. And we've now migrated into a 7-metre motorhome with a, well, not a baby, with a toddler now. So this is what we've done and what we do to make sure that we do everything that we can to make sure that our experience is enjoyable as possible. So we've broken the list up into two sections. So we've broken it up into the first section, which is physical items that can improve your experience. And then the second part is taking you through things that you can do before the journey to make sure that the journey is enjoyable as possible. So item number one is probably one of the things that we use the most. Now it lives at the front of the motorhome, just where I am now, so it sits in between the passenger seat and between the driver's seat, and that's mainly because so we can charge it whilst it's driving, and that is our Jackery. So we have it charging on the mains when we're stationary, and then we have it charging off the 12 volt whilst we're driving, and that for times when you can't get electric hookup if you're on park ups. That thing is an absolute lifesaver. So it's got one 230 socket, it's got a 12 volt plug on there as well, loads of USBs, and there's been loads and loads and loads of times that we've had to use that to charge laptops, phones, you name it. You know, it is absolutely an amazing piece of kit. Living full time in the van, space is at a premium, so when we do get parked up and we're on a campsite, being able to put other stuff outside makes a massive difference. So this is another one of the things that we use, which is an absolute lifesaver. This is a little portable fridge, so as you can see it's got the essentials in there: beverages, cheese, a bit of ham. So whenever we get to campsites, we like to put that fridge outside under the table. So A, it means that we've got extra space for the fridge as well, but it also means that, you know, motorhome fridges aren't particularly big, so it just means that we can have a space for drinks outside and food goes in the inside fridge, just giving us as much space as possible. So the next item on our list is something that we use pretty much all year round. So whether that's Morocco in the winter, or whether that is Southern Europe in the spring or in the UK in the summertime, we aren't particularly great in the heat, especially at least being from Scotland. So the next item is something that we use pretty much all year round, and it is our Fiamma wind out sun canopy. So obviously the beast's behaving himself at the moment just there, so I don't want to go outside and disturb him and get him all worked up. But that sun canopy, every possible opportunity that we can, we'll get that out and try and get as much shade on the pitch as possible. And after all that, I'm going to have to go outside anyway. So the next thing is some comfy chairs. So it's the same with whether it is comfy chairs, comfy seats, mattress toppers, mattress, duvet, pillows. If you're not sleeping very well and you're not comfy, then you just are not enjoying your experience. So one of the things that we went a bit above and beyond on was some really nice chairs. Probably some of the more expensive things that we've bought really is these Outwell chairs. They've got matching footstools, which I haven't got out just yet, but I'll show you a picture with them on. So as you can see, even for a big lad like me and a broad lad like me, they absolutely swallow you up. One problem is getting in them is trying to get out of them, because once you're down you don't want to get back up. Perfectly demonstrated there. So now that he can walk, the problem is that he tries to escape the pitch. So something that we've got now, which doubles up as a windbreaker, is something which allows us to be able to help contain this guy. So for absolute comfort, if you've got children or dogs, get windbreaks. When we come back to the UK in the summer, one thing that we like to attend is we like to do motorhome festivals, campervan festivals, that sort of thing. We obviously work a lot of them with A&E Leisure. So one of the things which makes us extremely comfortable and that we use a lot, even when we're parked up on campsites, because it helps with shopping if we've got the pushchair, is we've got one of the trolleys. So I'll just put a picture on the overlay on the screen there so you can have a look at it. So that's an Outwell trolley again. So like I say, when we were in Morocco, we would all go to the shop and I would load that up with you know, big bottles of water and lots of milk and stuff like that. Or when we're at festivals, we can put the beef in it, and rather than trying to navigate with the pushchair, we'll use the trolley because it's much better over the bumpier ground. Next on the list is something which we've got in the back of the motorhome here, and that is a 12 volt TV. So that is a cello TV. So that just means that, like I say, whether we're on EHU or not, it just means that we can still get some TV on, still put a bit of YouTube on for the beef. And once again, sometimes if we're worried about the batteries or we've not had great solar for the day, then we can use the Jackery again, and we can either run it through the Jackery on 12 volt or through the Jackery on 230 volt. And also as well, because it's got a fire stick, we've got an adapter on the back of the fire stick here, which means that it only uses one plug socket. So the USB that powers the Amazon Fire Stick goes straight back into the TV. So we can power the TV and we can power the Fire Stick through the 12 volt. Next item on the list is something that I'm not using right at this very second in time because I didn't want it to interfere with the audio on the video. But as you can see, in South Spain today, it is absolutely boiling. So the next thing I'm going to show you, which is probably the best thing that we've ever bought, ever, for any motorhome, any camper van. But it is the most expensive, but it's definitely worth it. And that is our air conditioning. So because our extractor fan, we don't have one in the kitchen here. We've got a big one at the back. So to fit the air conditioning here, they had to cut a square hole in the roof of my motorhome, which was quite a nervy time, but that is, it's cool already. So you can take it down to 16 degrees, you can have it, you can have it on varying levels of blowing, but literally, like I say, whether it's, as you can see that now, but I'd like to say, in Morocco in the winter, and even here now, we could not live without the air conditioning. If it's something that you haven't got, that you're thinking about, it is 100% the best thing you will ever buy, ever. I'm going to have to keep the air conditioning on now, it's too hot. But last but not least, for the physical things, the ultimate OG when it comes to van life accessories, and that is Karcher. So moisture inside any van is very bad, so mould, but also as well over time it can actually give you a bad chest and give you chest infections if you're constantly breathing in the mould spores. So any sort of condensation, anything like that, we always Karcher it out, and it's also, for some reason it's like wildly satisfying when you do it as well. Now I'm going to give you some quick fire tips as well for the journey, which will make your whole experience much better. Always make sure you've got screen wash and your screen washer's topped up. There's nothing worse than, especially if it's in the summertime and it's bugs, or if it's sort of autumn winter time and it's the salt from the road, not being able to clean your windscreen always drives me balmy. Make sure as well that you've always got snacks at the front of the motorhome or at the front of the van. There's nothing worse than, especially if you're driving for a little bit, setting off and then thinking, oh, we haven't got the cans of pop, or we haven't got the sweets, we haven't got the crisps, and then having to pull over to get the stuff out, because I hate stopping. Once I start driving, all I want to do is just keep driving, so the thought of having to stop does my head in. Always make sure the gas kettle is to hand, so if you're not on electric hookup and you've only got an electric kettle, there's been a few times now when we've pulled up at places and the gas kettle or the kettle that goes on the hob is somewhere in the garage buried under loads and loads and loads of other crap, so always make sure you've got that to hand. And finally, make sure you plan your route. Make sure that there's going to be nothing there which catches you out, low bridges or anything like that, and always try and have a plan B if you can when you're setting off. Thank you very, very much for watching this month's episode of Vanother Collective. Please make sure that you do go and watch other channels as well.